Gentlemen, I have come to say the N-word. No, Spy, don't do it! Don't say the N-word!
Hey everyone, welcome to the next annual chapter rant. Coming off the heels of Eternal Flame, there is one big question we need to ask. But before we answer that, let's go ahead and catch up on what exactly happened last chapter, shall we? Right. So, how do we follow that up? Well, to answer that question, we need to play our favorite BCB guessing game and spin the wheel of bullshits.
And it's wheel of money. Okay?
Step right up, don't be shy, everyone's a loser. Give it a whirl and see where you uh, oh, oh god. I, um, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really hope that means retarded. Well, in either case, let's not dwell on that. How does this chapter start? Let's get into it, huh? Okay, guys, you've really been slipping lately. And you, Jessica, you're perfect. But you, and you, and you, and even me. What happened to our Friday movie night? Sorry, Maddie. We had all that extra cheer practice leading up to the pep rally. And it kinda became Jordan's English tutoring night. So the chapter starts with everyone's favorite character, Madison, being a person. And if you've only seen my opinions based on these videos, you might miss the fact that I fucking hated Madison, as everyone else did at the time. And while I touched on it with the bowling chapter, fair game, with the introduction of this chapter, I think it's safe to say that Madison isn't that bad. But that doesn't mean that fans were wrong to hate her so much. The character was annoying and bordering on an offensive stereotype of obnoxious, jealous, man-hating lesbian. And since her introduction, only seemed to serve as an annoying, one-dimensional comic relief that brought down every scene she was in. But by totally unintentional coincidence, Madison, whose one note was that she's not Lucy, but instead a highlight of all the things that makes Lucy unlikable, ended up mellowing out while the real Lucy became a hollow highlight of all the things that make her unlikable. Funny how that happens, but I only bring it up here because this chapter intro helps a lot to make her more personable. It's kind of lame, in particular the meme quality jokes, but it does a good job of, again, making her feel like an actual person, and gives a feel for the neglected seniors friend group. It's something I harped on a lot, and really gives the sense that there is indeed life outside of the plotline. I just wanted to highlight these 2 pages though, because I really do like this part, and I appreciate what Tishy is doing here, but as is tradition, better not try that game on me. Why would I want to? Your name's not Jordan. Nothing good can stay. Nope, it's the classic Teshi bait and switch. Nothing that happens on the first 2 pages actually mean anything. We are instead focusing on our man Mike, who is feeling guilty for, you know, that. Meaning that for once, the chapter that precedes a bombshell chapter actually follows through on the events of the previous chapter. Do you know when the last time something like that happened? 10 chapters ago, with Mutual Assurance, which is only a follow-up to undo what happened in the previous chapter. And before you mention it, yes, this is a splash page. And you could argue the previous chapter could have been counted as halfsies. But don't worry, we're not taking shots for each one of those this time. Although we could. I'll be by the bleachers at the start of lunch. Thanks. But to summarize, Mike gets a note in his locker, and we get this long page where we're kind of meant to assume that it's from Lucy asking to talk to him behind the bleachers. Although I don't know why anyone would think she'd do that, since last chapter ended with her saying that she never wanted to see him again and straight up cold shouldering Mike trying to talk to her. But thankfully, it's not actually her, but instead, it's a splash page. I mean, it's Augustus! And I'm starting to wonder if we could have made this chapter into a drinking game. What do you want from me? I just wanted to hear your side of the story. Anyway, Augustus reveals that he obviously knows about what happened in the last chapter and wants to know Mike's side of the story, but Mike is too distraught and can't find the words, kind of falling back into self-pity. Is that what you wanted to hear? Well, no. I want to know why, not what you think you should say. I'm not lying. I've been a terrible person to everybody, to Lucy. Thankfully, though, Mike isn't dealing with Lucy or anyone who would even humor a guilt trip. He is dealing with the best boy, Augustus, and he is unafraid of speaking the truth. Is she alright? That's something you care about now. I know I did something really horrible, but now I can't even talk to her, apologize to her, comfort her, or do anything. She doesn't want to see me. You can hardly blame her. I don't. Mike does actually tell Augustus what happened, and we get a peek into exactly what transpired between Mike believing Lucy at the tree and him mending his relationship with Sandy. So why? When I got back home, I found out Sandy had been calling back the whole time. She was beside herself. She thought I might have done something crazy. She felt so guilty for what she'd done. I knew how she felt. Essentially, Mike claims that he was emotionally pressured into giving Sandy a second chance after she says she promised to never cheat again and give up on working with the other guy. And I will say, while it is bullshit, I do appreciate the monologue. We finally get Mike talking about his feelings and explaining why he does things the way he does. Because while a lot of BCB fans are sycophantic overthinkers, applying their own logic and personal lives onto these characters to justify their actions, one of the main reasons that they do that is because no one ever fucking explains themselves. So having this bit here, even if it smells like bullshit, to this starving audience, it tastes like a big fat W.
We'll be right back with Larry King.
And we're not even done, because you know who else calls bullshit on the idea that Mike had no choice but to accept Sandy's apology? How could I say no to her? You know how. The bestest boy, the creep, my man, the Gussie! You owed Lucy something after that night. Instead, you undid every bit of good she did for herself, every bit of growth she'd shown. Now she's back at square one, all for something she predicted, something she knew you were going to do. And the only reason she fell for your bullshit again was because she can't stand seeing you suffer. So please, just leave her the fuck alone for once. I tell you to go fix it, but I know you can only make things worse. Finally, someone is actually fucking holding this son of a bitch accountable for his own actions and spinning this cycle forever. And I know, I've cheered every time this happens, and it seems like Mike gets yelled at a lot. But here's the thing, it never sticks, because Mike always weasels his way out of actually taking accountability, and now for the first time we get to see him actually face the repercussions of his actions and has to talk about them for once, which we haven't seen since, I don't know, fucking Unrequited, which is all the way back in 09? Otherwise, you know what the immediate repercussion of December was? He got to see Sandy and was told, hey, maybe, your friend Lucy is kind of a person, and you shouldn't have maybe gone so fucking hard on her. Whoops, too late. Hee. And even that took 2 chapters to happen. And when Lucy attempted suicide after the play, which I don't care what Love Again tries to say with adding 14 more reasons why, it still falls back onto Mike. But he doesn't have to answer or talk about that for 4 whole chapters when finally someone punches him in the face for that. But what's his response? What's his takeaway? And now you'd think at least somebody'd understand why I want to avoid Lucy, but no. It's always about her. She's always right, and I'm always the asshole. Why'd I even get invited here? Nobody even likes me. He pulls out the victim card and says, "No one understands. Every man is an island."
Don't you understand, Claire?
And I loved her. I loved her too. It's not fair. You already got that dumb make-believe girlfriend. Just had to be a shit about it. You're so smart, Mike. So much fucking better than that. But oh no, it's okay now. You see, they're all crying and sad, and they all care about each other. Look, they forgive Mike, so you should forgive him too. Look at him crying. He is so sorry for what he did. Oh, look at that puppy dog eyes. And he knows now that he should have been more open about his feelings, and if only he told her how much he cared. Blah, blah, blah. So he repents for his sins and is cleansed until... Would you shut up? Abby's not gonna do anything. Quit acting like a victim. You were the one he attacked. Fine then, keep on whining. But I'm pretty sure I know more about surprise attacks than you. He goes back onto his same path of self-isolation and non-communication with his friends again, to the point where he takes snipes and undermines someone he knows was hurt, to the point of bashing said person's head into a table because they wanted you to fucking talk about your problems, because Mike was clearly trying to make the situation about him. But oh, what's the repercussions for this? Why, he gets a concerned talk from Sue, who shows actual sympathy for him. But oh no, you don't understand. No one understands me. All everyone ever cares about is Lucy. Oh no, every man is an island. Don't you understand, Claire? And you know what the fucking follow-up to that was? And don't worry, you didn't have to wait long, because it was the next chapter when they walked it right back. Are you fucking kidding me? But oh no, see, Paolo apologized to Mike. He feels sorry for being rude. He forgives Mike. So you forgive Mike too, don't you? He's repented for his sins. He's free to go forth and do the same shit over and over again. Because he never learns. Because every fucking time it happens, Mike plays the victim and cries about how he's sorry and he won't do it again, but he's going to do it again. Because Mike's signature move is bottling up his pent-up emotions of anger and bitterness into a caustic acid for him to throw into the face of anyone who tries to tell him what he doesn't want to hear. And I know it's mean, it's cold, and you should feel sorry for victims. But here's the problem: when a person falls into the same pattern of behavior over and over and pulls out the victim card to explain why he's hurting everyone else, you know what happens? Eventually, someone is going to take it.
A deep breath. I marched right up to him, looked him right in the eye, then
Tell you your victim card has just been declined. And there is no character better to deliver this lesson than Augustus, a man who has experienced pain, trauma, abuse, and knows what it really means. He's the one person who can knock some sense and tell Mike what he needs to hear. He's the one person who isn't going to fall for the waterworks and let him just... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't have to tell her anything. I know she doesn't want to hear from me, but please let her know I feel so fucking terrible. I hate myself. Such a stupid pushover. Such an idiot. I don't even know how I forgave Sandy so quickly.
Are you me?
it's not different at all! Is it, Steve?
Did the hard R stand for recycling? Because it should. And you still believe her? I want to. Otherwise, what was the point of trying to make all this work? I will say, though, it's not that bad. At least better than the last 5 times Mike has cried and felt sorry for himself. He obviously is conflicted about his choice and is sincerely remorseful for hurting Lucy, and it almost feels like he's taken a glance behind the curtain, and in particular with the line, "I don't even know why I forgave Sandy so quickly." It's like he too is upset with Teshi for pulling that bullshit move and nuking all of Mike's character development. You don't have to worry about protecting her from me, 'cause I'll never talk to her again. I promise. I really promise. Just please look after her, alright? Of course. I can see them. I can see Teshi's fat sausage fingers reaching over to pluck at my heartstrings. And when I first read this, I felt it. I did feel sorry for Mike, but in writing this script and remembering all the times this exact move has happened, I just can't feel it anymore. I've regained sight of the tracks of this coaster, and I know that this is going to end the same. And the thing is, I might have. If Mike actually said what he did that was wrong, instead of saying that he broke Lucy's trust and didn't take her advice to go steady, instead of actually looking inward to figure out what went wrong and what he did, he instead just reiterates, "Oh, Sandy did so much. I'm an idiot. Don't worry about me. Lucy doesn't want to hear from me. I feel terrible," which, paired with the pattern of behavior that we've seen in Mike, it feels more like he's using his self-pity and self-destruction as a shield. And it's a good shield. Self-pity and demeaning yourself can be comforting. It makes for a good cover, because no one can hurt you more than you hurt yourself. And you can use it for a long time. But the problem is, as any psychologist can tell you, is that when you do that, what you are doing is turtling. You are ignoring the problem of being wrong, but by just saying "I'm wrong," by throwing your hands up in the air and saying "I'm wrong" without actually knowing why you're wrong and what you can do about that. When you do that, you shirk off accountability for your own actions because, oh, whoops, I guess it's my fault because I'm dumb. And it's comfortable because it's easier to call yourself stupid and feel sorry for yourself than it is to actually face the root problems with your behavior and figure out why you are acting the way you are. It's scary. It's terrifying. But when you let yourself become consumed with self-pity, all you're really doing is building a wall between you and the problem instead of actually addressing it. And if you keep on falling back to relying on self-pity to deal with your problems, you strengthen that wall and build it higher and higher. And if you do that, you are never going to get over it. But yeah, whatever. That's a really dumb running pose. You aren't going anywhere like that. You are not running. You are doing yoga and a shit impression of a flamingo. But whatever. Chapter's done, and this whole thing is so stupid. As the great poet Ryan Peters once said, it was transparent like a dad who had a sex change. This whole chapter was clearly just the same trick as every other time. It's a sob scene to get us to ease up on Mike and make us feel sorry for him because he realized he went too fucking far again. Except, if I may remind you of what happened with Eternal Flame, It nuked all sympathy for Mike's character. And yeah, it's touching to hear Mike air his frustrations and explain his thinking just a little, but that doesn't matter much now, does it? Because since you couldn't help yourself from backstabbing your fucking audience just one more time, you fucked up the whole dynamic. Because the whole meat of what makes the song and dance between Mike and Lucy interesting in the first place was the balance of pros and cons, the give and take of each character that made it an interesting debate of who was right and whose side you were on between Mike and Lucy. It was fairly balanced. Even when Lucy was being a cold bitch to her friends, Mike was doing the same. I know you know the song and dance, Teshi, and you should know that after you pull that fucking move in Eternal Flame, you can't just pull out a sob scene and make us feel sorry for Mike to balance the scales again.
You've messed with the natural order!
You destroyed this character. Now you have to build him back up if you want readers to even think about caring about him to the same level they do for Lucy. You'd have to do some real creative... Wait a second. Wait, what? Page 20 of 28. What do you mean there's 8 pages left? What the fuck is there left to say? Mike and Augustus talk. Mike says he's sorry, does the big cry, every man is an island, Claire. Augustus lays back and... Oh. Oh no. Oh god, no. Oh hey. Oh god. I just remembered what the hard R means. Are you okay? And it's not nigger. Lucy?
Well, typical. Well, you would pull some bullshit like this. Well, you would. Oh, you would pull some bullshit like this, you slippery toad. Oh, you would pull some horse ass like this.
Oh, I forgot about this scene. So, you remember that balancing scale of character sympathy? And how Mike would have to gain a lot of character points in order to get in order to set that balance right, to be on the same level of likability as Lucy, who he just made a victim. Well, what we are witnessing is some black magic bullshit. I am appalled. I honestly did not think Teshi would do something like this. But she did! In order to balance the scales, once again, instead of relying on the strength of her writing, instead of doing something more with Mike's character and make him sympathetic and earn the reader's trust and sympathy, you said, why try to lift this character out of this nuclear crater that we put them in when we could just pull Lucy down to his level of unlikability? It's brilliant. You don't have to put in the legwork of fucking trying. You don't have to make Mike more compelling or even show him actually fucking try to improve when you could just make Lucy a fucking... And the best part is, you don't get it. This is the hard R. The hard R in PCP stands for rape. And I know what you're thinking, but it was only a kiss. How could it end up like that? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Well, dear viewer, there was one other person that Lucy kissed like this, and it was Paolo. All the way back in the chapter called Curtain Call. Let's make out. Oh, okay. You see, this chapter happened post-December, but pre-Lucy's suicide attempt. In fact, it is the last chapter before Lucy attempts suicide. Off-screen, of course, because fuck you. So it is Lucy at her lowest point. But we and the characters aren't aware of that yet, because we and the characters haven't been able to see a talk with Lucy since December, which at this point was over a year ago in real time, so Paolo takes the opportunity to talk with her to see how she's doing and gets this proposal dropped on him like a bag of bricks. So they make out, and then she attempts suicide, and we are left in the dark for 3 years before we get to eat strawberry pancakes. So how does this relate to Augustus? Well, it was a similar situation where Mike burned Lucy, and she fell into a depression and forced to kiss on someone who didn't expect it. But again, it's only a kiss. It's only a kiss, right? Well, it turns out 4 years after Curtain Call happened, without any hints or tease, we got some new information that the kiss, what I did to you, that wasn't right. No better than Jessica. May not have been a kiss. But hey, that could mean anything, right? I mean, just because the one thing of note between Jessica and Paolo was that Jessica stole Paolo's virginity after she took him to a club and got him drunk to get back at Tess. That doesn't mean that it was that. That could mean anything, and we're just like a midget in a grocery store, and we're all just reaching. Except that 2 chapters from now, they elaborate on the play again by, well, maybe it was just a hand job? But okay, so maybe they did it, but that doesn't mean it was the hard R. Except, yo, I was actually looking forward to school coming back. It's because I wanted to see you again. Paolo wasn't looking for sex. He didn't want to tell her he loved her and wanted to start a relationship with her, but if Paolo knew the mental state Lucy was in, he would not have had sex with her. And you know how I know that? Because the one time where the two would have had sex, Paolo said no. He stopped it from happening. And you know why he said no? Because, Lucy, you're not yourself right now. You will regret it. He recognized that Lucy was in a terrible mental state and didn't want to take advantage of her. He knew it was bad and he put a stop to it. But again, Paolo didn't know that Lucy was literally on the verge of suicide. So it's not just sex that they had, it was sex under false pretense, meaning it was a hard R. And I am telling you this, I am explaining this whole fucked up backstory to explain to you now why this is not just a kiss. But that doesn't mean it's that, right? Except I will literally scream if you don't get off me. Your whole family will hear it. Wait, no, shh, please. Aren't you supposed to ask? Isn't that what you kept saying about me and Daisy? I thought you knew this stuff. Now I have to turn it back on you. You read this fucking dialogue and you tell me that wasn't the fucking direction, because Augustus never showed any romantic interest in Lucy. He cared about her, but never in that way. In fact, the only reason that he is in this room is because this is Lucy's house. She gave him a place to stay, a place to be safe, a place of stability where he doesn't have to be around his neglectful parents or a fucking violent psychopath that he fucked over. So yeah, if Lucy went through with this kiss, it would have been a hard fucking R, and I hate it. This is just... And I am so fucking disgusted right now. This is appalling. More than that, I am fucking pissed, and it's not just because of the hard R. No. I'm angry because I desperately want to ask why. I want to ask why so fucking bad. Why? Why did you do this? But I know why. You did it because it was easy. It was fast and dirty and you needed a way out. So you turned to the dark arts and pulled out the worst trick in the book to balance the scales because you need conflict. Because this comic can't exist without conflict. No, you're scared that this comic can't fucking survive without conflict. And when you go too far and make one of your main characters deplorably stupid, the only thing you can think think of to solve the issue is to bring your other main character down too, because after Eternal Flame, no one wanted to side with Mike on that. No one wanted to go up to bat for the idiot who spun his own wheels for years, finally got the car out of the ditch, only to reverse back into the ditch to spin his wheels some more. So what do you do? That's the interesting discussion. You need to have a balance. You need to have the give and take, so you pull out the fucking hard R, so that Lucy is now brought down to a similarly low fucking level. Well, congratulations, because now the debate between Mike and Lucy can now be boiled down to, oh, Mike is a passive-aggressive pussy who blames everyone else for his problems. Yeah, well, Lucy's a fucking rapist. Is that what you fucking wanted? Are you fucking happy, Teshi? Are you happy with the monster you created? I'm not. I'm fucking pissed, because this chapter is so goddamn transparent with what it's trying to do. You couldn't just have Mike airing out his feelings, getting his side of the story, and showing remorse. No, you had to tack on this stupid fucking scene of Lucy committing sexual assault at the least. But oh, don't you know, this is a thing that happens when people get suicidal and depressed. They latch onto anyone they can. They will sometimes give up their body for sex as an act of self-destruction and lack of self-worth. Well, it's real. Yeah, and you know what else is real? SIDS. But we don't fucking write about that, because you know why? Because it's really fucked up. And if you do incorporate it, you do so with care, you do so with tact, you do so with purpose and conviction, and you treat it with the utmost seriousness, because if you don't, you get this. You undermine the severity of the situation by making it not about depression, mental illness, suicide, or even rape. It becomes about evening the fucking score and upping the ante. What's worse is that you couldn't even let this scene fucking breathe. No, you gotta smash it into the same chapter with the other fucking scene of Mike paralleling apologies, because God forbid you stick on a fucking subject, flesh it out, explore the ideas, and fucking build on them. God forbid you take the fucking long way and build a road for these characters to walk down to redeem themselves instead of giving them a cheater's head start by kneecapping everyone around them. God, I'm so fucking hot right now. You know what? Fuck this chapter. I don't even care about the last whatever pages. You want to know what happens? Here, take a wild fucking guess on what the hell happens. Lucy cries and apologizes. Augustus forgives her, so we forgive her. There's more self-loathing. Haha, chemistry, and shit baiting. Go fuck yourself. Seriously, go fuck yourself. Use the promotional link www.shammy.toys. That is www.shammy.toys to get whatever percentage off and browse amongst the variety of products to suit your needs, and go fuck yourself. I cannot fucking believe you, Teshi. I'm not asking much. I'm just asking you to fucking try. You don't have to keep going for the easy out. You don't have to fucking gut punch your audience to make them feel something. You don't have to bring up the worst fucking things to make your characters sympathetic. Why don't you try and actually write them like regular, functional fucking characters and not broken down train wrecks that we have to feel sorry for? Just take the time, work the angles, find out what you really want to do with a scene, with that character. Think critically, get creative. Don't fucking go for the lowest blow. Stop hitting the nuclear option. You don't have to hurt your audience to make them feel something, because you know what this feels like. It feels like sadistic emotional manipulation. You can't fucking stop hurting people. The only time you do anything good is so that you could rip it away. You can't fucking help yourself when the opportunity rises to twist the knife and get a rise out of your audience. You gotta go for the low blow. You can't stop. You can't fucking write with an ounce of subtlety that isn't used as a fucking handle for your sledgehammer. Prove me wrong. Actually, fuck that. Prove to your audience. Prove to your fans. Prove it to the people that still fucking care after all this bullshit that you are a good writer. That you don't have to pull bullshit like this to make people feel sorry for your characters. Prove you know how to advance your plot and have characters resolve issues naturally. Prove that you have the capacity to write your main characters as people and not a fucked up bundle of issues. You're not a fucking hack, Teshi. You're not a bullshit artist. You're not a fucking scammer, and you're not a fucking ship sailor. You're a fucking writer. You're a webcomic artist. Act like it. Act like you care. Act like you give a damn about your life's work. You are better than this. I know you're better than this. So fucking prove it. Editor's note. I was apparently so fired up about this, I completely forgot to mention the fact that Mike's not wearing pants in this scene. Man's all layered up with a scarf and jacket. It's so cold, he's got to pull out his moody jacket, but it's not cold enough to keep the boys safe. I mean, oh my god. Even Oh my god, even Augustus is going bare ass. Has he been like that the whole time and I just never noticed? Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder everyone thinks you're a sex offender. Put some fucking pants on. What's wrong with you? I get that you're furries and all, but holy shit, you guys are fucking animals. And I know it's nitpicking, and really most of the time they're fully naked anyway, but I mean, come on. It's just drawing attention to the fact their downstairs are just hanging out. You know, who knows? Maybe this is like some statement or something. Is it too soon for them to say dicks out for Harambe?